So Road Rager happened. Of course, we got Road Rager. That happened last night. Decent capacity crowd. Of course, they were popping about everything. At least I'll give this up for AEW Dynamite the other night. It was actually refreshing to see an actual capacity crowd react to what's going on in the show, and that's what's going to be the only optimism I'm going to give for the rest of the show. You think I'm going to be positive here? Great. That's just great to hear. So let's go into what was the main event. The tag title match, and the opener was Cody Rhodes against QT Marshall. Decent strap match. I like the spot with the spit. I felt like it could have went later up the card, especially how much they kept promoting this over Cody just having a super duper WrestleMania entrance, while the guy he's having a personal feud for, a guy who cut off that literally broke off from his family faction, whatever gay feud they've been having for the last couple of weeks, ended up with not even having an entrance. So we had the generic slap the corner, fake like I'm knocked out, hit the corner, average match. The continuous, the elevated cutter up the top was pretty alright, and the continuous crossroads were actually pretty decent at the end, so I'll give it to that. Decent opener, about 13 minutes. Ain't much to be excited for. Same thing was for the Tony Schiavone interview involving Kenny Omega, ending with, okay, Evil Uno sucks. Evil Uno sucks. This guy is the pseudo. They could have cut off Dark Order as soon as John Hubbard died. The only reason why these guys are still getting TV time is because John Hubbard, and they are the bare minimum over at BTE. All it is is gay 5'2" betas with Evil Uno that sounds like Mesagog from Dino Thunder in that Power Rangers show. I hate him. He sucks. It's like, why don't you want to face my friend, Hangman Adam Page? Are you scared? Like he's trying to move over his neck. I liked Don Callis actually playing over with the crowd, going over that you got fired because somehow people watch Impact, and it was pretty alright of a promo involving Don Callis because Kenny Omega can't save anybody's life with a promo. And then with Hangman literally doing over a run-in after Carl Anderson and I felt like it was just scattered everywhere. I didn't even know how it even begun. All I know is Kenny said, Bangkok, baby. Yeah, he made a Bangkok joke. What a world champion. Hangman just about to take out nearly everybody, and it ended with just a still shot. So they're trying to hype over a world title feud with Kenny and Hangman. It just feud over feud over feud with Kenny. None of it feels like it's overarching, or at least producing much of making Kenny's character even the slightest more interesting. I guess now, after months of him being world champion, that they're going to actually give him an interesting feud with Hangman. Next, we also had the Inner Circle against the Pinnacle in a 6-person tag trios match. The trios match was actually pretty alright. Decent combos with Santana and Ortiz. It was cool to see K-Dog back after he took a pile driver last time he appeared on Dynamite. And it was actually pretty alright. It was a decent spots over the match where we were trying to hype up the two heavyweights, Hagar and, of course, Wardlow. I'm still conflicted on the name of Wardlow. I like that they're trying to hype up over the heavyweight shit because it's better than the MMA fight that they had a few weeks prior. Super kick. A distraction off Tully Blanchard that ends with a big rig. I'm sorry. The Shatter Machine, if you guys still know them as WWE stars. Then we had, of course, a standoff, and a fat ass fan literally came over a neckbeard after they finally get a capacity crowd. None of you people are that patient enough to storm over the ring. I understand fans want to do crazy shit, but why? What's the benefit of doing that? How? What's the benefit? They are going to kick the shit out of you. No joke. This has been done for many years. You're telling me still that you still want to storm over the ring for two experienced grown men that obviously do more exercise than you, that's going to kick your ass. They're gonna kill you. Jericho, MJF did a fun little insult involving it. It was cool to see the whole entire fans get Judas over. Really, really nice. Even though I'm shocked over a year, none of those people find that the song has lost its luster. But no, it's still big. Jesus Christ. So MJF challenged Jericho to do the Trials of Jericho because Greek mythology, and you see how much you did for John Moxley. You can see how it is to get to me with the entire pinnacle in this, and with a different stipulation in each match. So it's not going to be boring ass one-on-one work rate matches. We're actually going to see a unique trial set. So I'm actually anticipating this, and they've been having better promos over the show than anybody else. So there's a positive right there. Then we had Matt Sydal against Andrade and Idolo. The match was alright. I mean, it was better than the blackout segment we had in that strap match. Just to save for later. And y'all need to stop going picture in picture. Stop going commercial break for matches that are. I understand Matt Sydal somehow is ranked 5, even though every time people see him on regular TV, he loses consistently. I understand Rampage is gonna prolong the ranking system still. At least they're gonna have another reason to make sure you watch more AEW, but they need to cut off one part of AEW Dark. He was trying to go for that Alberto Del Rio double stomp over the corner. There's a Meteora. It ends with a modified hammerlock DDT. Looked alright. I didn't mind the entrance attire for Andrade. Didn't look much of a star because he didn't even explicit that much, except that he's trying to be a violent luchador. There was also an interview involving Ethan Page, and with fairly enough background until now. Like most of the time, like you power bombing him out the. Oh, it's because uh you went for the indies. You got more popular in the indies faster than I did. So this is personal. I mean, at least I can understand more of the animosity around it, other than Ethan Page just looking like he's trying to he's trying to take a lozenge after every promo, trying to feel like he's the least menacing. Is this hyping me up for their coffin match next week? Nah, not really. And just the promo, it was Tony Schiavone interviewing Arn Anderson over his son's debut in a tag team match involving Cody Rhodes, the previous Dynamite, and it was, it's Tommy Yan. It's Tommy Yan. It's not Tommy Yan. It's not Tommy Yan. Write it. Read it. Read the paper. It's Malachi Black. Wait, what? That's what it sounded like. It sounded like they needed to read, check again, read. Why did he come with a black eye? They had to, I guess now, they had to use the blackout screen. He black masked both Arn Anderson and Cody Rhodes. Cody didn't even just ask. I mean, tried to fight back for his coach. He just asked. He tried to ask questions immediately. At least, yeah. Now Aleister Black's on AEW. This gets buzz because it's regurgitated WWE jobbers that keep getting signed over to to AEW. I mean, I don't hate whenever a guy gets a shot that's been undervalued. Like when Christian came to TNA, it's like, oh, he was a decent mid carder, but let's see what he would do on the stage that would also still be on free TV, where he could still be well renowned, and he did well for himself. People know who Christian Cage is if you're a TNA fan. A lot of people always talk high praise about him. But whenever you have a guy like Aleister Black that spent like like two years, and barely did much on WWE. It just doesn't feel that big of a deal. Then we had, of course, our street fight. Look, I only reacted to the apron Canadian Destroyer on a freaking table because it was that unrealistically dumbfounded that it got me to react. Super kick. I think the Young Bucks used a streamer to blind Eddie Kingston and Penta multiple times. Kazarian, yeah, somehow Christopher Daniels doesn't even want to come and fight with him. Power bombed Brandon Cutler on the table. That's what the dumbass hairspray, body spray. I don't know what kind of spray it is. Doesn't make them look cool. I don't know what kind of gimmick they're going through other than looking like two Effies that also are the Rockers. They tornado DDT. There's a tossover with the trash can. It ends with a stereo super kick and I think a BTE trigger, or it was something else. Never mind. It just was another super kick to win. Pretty all right. Pretty all right, but I felt like it was mad repetitive. Luckily, this did not drag. This was the final couple seconds. I forgot that we also had Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy against the Blade and Bunny, and that match was forgettable. Like, I don't know if they're trying to push over a relationship with Chris Statlander. I hate her gimmick because she never lives up to it, and there was barely anything that got me that excited over with most of the spots in the match. And they are so incoherent whenever they push their mid-carders, and then they're back over to, like, bottom-feeding mixed tag team matches and just being now the side gag when they're over. That they don't know how to actually make over mid-carders and put them in good feuds. Because either they want to creep them over to the main event scene and nobody cares, or they just get them in lower carding matches that are not going to ever make their stock feel like they should be more advertisable. That's what I feel like AEW is missing. Other than that, it's a pretty alright show, especially in a different setting. So that's also a good positive that we're out of Daly's place. And I'm only anticipating the massive disappointment when we're back with fans for WWE. Other than that, that's it from me. We'll be back for Fighter Fest night 1 and night 2 if we're having a 2-night basis for these weekly shows. I don't get it. Just do pay-per-views. You can do 8 pay-per-views. No one's going to force you. And plus, that'll be pushing over more, like, buys for your fans, because you're going to probably see bigger matches. And you can just push that over on the streaming network. I'm sure TNT might be okay with that. But, that's just my opinion. And, you know, I'm not big. We got hype matches for Fighter Fest, especially Britt Baker. Doing a heel promo, even though they concisely try to put her in a face situation with Nyla Rose, and trying to sympathize now with Rebel getting hurt. Matt Hardy and Christian Cage are gonna fight over, like, we used to be popular tag team wrestlers, and now we're feuding over 22 years of a lack of a backstory. I still have a concussion. You and Edge were brothers, right? Like, this was an alright show. I'm not gonna say every match was completely garbage. And, yeah, that's it coming for me. I mean, you can make a show bad, or you can make it good, or you can just make it uneventful. I mean, you had a big return matches that had sort of an end game in it, but yeah, not that much to move the needle for me. I heard also Raw got a 1.4 again, so yeah, there's a lot of disappointment today. Thanks for watching.
MJF did everything.